Here's a quick tutorial on how to use DaVinci Resolve in about 5 minutes. Alright, let's open up DaVinci Resolve. The first thing you're going to see is all the projects that you're working on. I'm not working on anything right now, so I'm going to go to Untitled Project. So down here at the bottom is 7 different tabs: Media, Cut, Edit, Fusion, Color, Fairlight, and Deliver. When you switch between these, you're essentially switching the view. The Media tab is an easy way to import your footage into your project. Up here in the top left corner is essentially a browser to find the footage on your computer. Come to a folder. And now I see all the footage here I shot from a recent project. I can scroll through, I can put my cursor over the top to get an idea of what the footage is. Once I found the clips I want, I can either select all or I can click on individual clips and drag them down to the bottom. It'll ask me if I want to change the project frame rate. I do. Then I'll jump over into the edit page. I'm going to select all the clips and come down here to the bottom and let go of them, and that is going to create a new timeline for me. All of my clips are there, but if we right click on timeline and go to timeline settings, I can come in here if I want to change to a vertical format, for example, if I'm creating something for short form. Let's keep this in landscape format. So now I'm basically ready to start editing. I can use the minus and the plus keys to zoom in and out of my timeline. I can also drag the track right here to make it vertically a little bit larger, and then you'll see a small thumbnail preview of the clips in the timeline. So now I can start scrubbing through my project and editing my clips. You can do this 2 different ways. One way is actually just dragging the ends like this to where I want them to start and stop. I can also switch over to the blade tool and make cuts. When I am done, I can click on the clips I want to remove, and then I can actually click on the empty spaces as well and just press delete. It's as easy as that. If you're somebody that's coming from Premiere or Final Cut and you're already used to the keyboard shortcuts, the cool thing is in DaVinci Resolve, you can actually come up here, click on keyboard customization, and you can actually change it to Final Cut 10, Avid, Pro Tools, Premiere Pro. You don't have to learn new keyboard shortcuts, which I think is pretty cool. Top right of the page allows you to make some modifications to things like zooming in and out, the position if you want to reframe things, especially if you're in vertical, that's very helpful. If you're shooting vertical content and you're worried about something coming in and out of the frame, you can press Smart Reframe. And there's a bunch more features in here that I don't have enough time to get into right now. A lot of these you don't necessarily need to touch though if you're just doing basic edits. I wouldn't worry too much about them. So in theory, if you're just editing, you could come to Deliver. For the sake of this project, let's jump over to the Color tab. Right away, you're like, holy shit, what is all of this stuff? This is so overwhelming. This tool is pretty powerful, so there's a ton of stuff you can do, but you honestly don't need to use a lot of these features. To keep things really simple, I want to show you how to do something the most basic way that doesn't involve a 900 node tree that I've seen on a lot of YouTube tutorials. Come up here to the top right, and instead of making clip by clip adjustments, change it to timeline. Then what you're going to do is right click in this area up here at the top, go to Add Node and Corrector, and then connect this to the node tree. And essentially what these are layers. So each one of these you can keep stacking different effects on. And so that's why you see people with tons of different node trees. Maybe people are adding a LUT, then they're changing the skin tones, then they're adding halation and glow and grain and all these other things. From a basic standpoint, let me show you how to do the most simple thing, which is just to add a single LUT. So I just created this one node. Now I can come over here to the top left, click on LUTs, and scroll down and find a LUT that I like. I personally love the Phantom LUTs. I think they're great for Sony cameras. So a lot of times for me on projects, I'll take one of these Phantom LUTs like Utopia, come over here, drag and drop it on top of the clip, and now it's done. And like I said, this applies to all of the clips. It looks super good, and overall, I'm really stoked on that. So now let's jump over into the Fairlight tab. Honestly, most of the stuff I do is consolidated to one area. It's over here on the right. It's the mixer section. I'm not a pro audio person, so these are kind of the basic features I use to make things sound a little bit better, but you can obviously do a ton more in here. Over on the right, you're going to see A1 and you're going to see bus 1. A1 is referring to the track number. So if we jump over into the edit page, you'll see here A1 audio 1. That's the track that has all the audio from my camera. There's a feature called voice isolation. If we click this little dot, it turns it on and essentially removes all of the background noise. This feature works crazy well to basically isolate the sounds. Come down here to the final tab under Deliver. Up top here, you'll see a bunch of presets if you start scrolling through. If one of the things that you're using is already there, then epic. For example, I want to export this out and put it on YouTube. I can click on the YouTube setting, come down here to the bottom left, add to render queue. Top right corner here is your render queue. You can see my video I have. It's all lined up, good to go. I'm going to tap render all, and boom, that is it, and I'm exporting. Really powerful, guys, but it's kind of what you make of it. You don't have to use all the features. Don't get intimidated by these really advanced color grading tutorials on DaVinci. And the coolest part is the basic version of this program is completely free, which is nuts. Honestly, super glad I switched.